Today, I will be doing a video on a multimodal literature review on discovering connections between sources on product placement within grocery stores. Specifically, the research question that I will be analyzing is if product placement in grocery stores really is that effective and influential to everyday customers, and if it can actually impose health risks such as obesity to them. My research topic is how product placement is utilized in grocery stores worldwide to market to customers and convince them to buy items that they would rather not need or want, and can cause potential health risks from mainly marketing unhealthy, addictive foods. What is product placement, you ask? Product placement is a way to quietly advertise products to customers without them really realizing that they are being targeted and convince them to buy the product. This can be done by placing products in high-interest, desirable places throughout the store. For my research topic, I am specifically focusing on the retail setting of product placement in grocery stores and how some researchers are bringing to light the negative effects that this has caused, such as obesity. I will go over 3 main topics throughout my video, focusing on studies, disagreements, and advocacy. Before diving into the real world of supermarkets, many of my sources have conducted studies to show the impact of product placement onto customers. Between 2 of my sources, one study from Food Placement in Supermarkets by Chuck Dinerstein, researchers did a study by having 3 grocery stores laid out like normal, with addictive, unhealthy food at the front of the store and on end caps, while they changed around other stores to have vegetables and fruits near the entrance and first aisles instead, with candy removed to the areas healthier food would usually be. Connecting to this study, one performed from the source called Placements and Promotion Strategies to Increase Sales of Healthier Products in Supermarkets in Low-Income, Ethnically Diverse Neighborhoods, a randomized control trial, by Gary Foster and others. The study focused on placing healthier items, such as skim milk, low-calorie beverages, and various frozen meals at certain places, some at eye level, some at end caps, and targeted others by putting certain brands side by side. The results showed for both studies that there was a little impact on money spent, but a huge difference in healthier foods versus unhealthy foods being purchased by consumers based on if they were placed in more desirable locations or not. The other 3 sources that I have researched using a computational model to quantify the potential impact of changing the placement of healthy beverages in stores as an intervention to nudge adolescents' behavior choice by Michelle Wong and others, Retail Grocery Store Marketing Strategies and Obesity and Integrative Review by Karen Glaines and others, and Psychology Behind Retail Product Placement by Ryan from Retail Minded also have shown similarities between studies performed on products being placed next to like-minded items and at eye level. One of the studies even found that if you put a quoted healthier item of food next to an unhealthier food, such as foods labeled lower fat or oven baked, customers would be more inclined to buy the labeled healthier item, even if it wasn't actually much better than the other option. Together, these 3 sources all found that customers can easily be deceived just by placing items at specific locations that are easily accessible, such as at eye level, at the front of the store, and at the front of registers. To dive into the real world and to be able to get a better picture of how these sources all connect together, let's take a trip to a local grocery store to test their studies in the real world. So today we are going to a local grocery store, Save-A-Lot, in the small town North Collins, where most of its residents, especially older, have it as its only option to get food and other items in the town. There, I hope that we can walk around and look at products placed in everyday scenarios and talk to some of the people there on their opinions on product placement and the impacts it has on customers. So we're here with the store manager, Carrie of Save-A-Lot, and we're just here to ask her a couple questions on her opinions on product placement within the store. So do you think that product placement is used frequently throughout the store, or do you kind of just put items wherever, really?
Product placement is based on where we think that consumers will see them the most. So like seasonal items, we try to get towards the front. We try to keep like items together. So like over here, we have all of our seasonal fall type geared foods. You know, the noodles to go with the beef stock and the chicken broth, all the beans for like chilies, and then we have the chili packet seasoning above it. This is aimed at like holiday type food with like the green beans and the corn, all the seasonal soups right above it. And then you have your juice, like apple juice is more of a fall drink. And then you'd see it change throughout the seasons to be more aimed at summer or winter type meals.
So I understand the deal with all the holiday items being placed together, but what do you think how successful end caps are at convincing customers to buy the items that are on those shelves?
Very much so. Our end caps are geared more towards items that wouldn't normally be on the shelf. So like over here we have a special buy, which is oatmeal. We carry oatmeal normally, but these are the bigger sizes. So we'll put it on an end cap so people will see it and grab it, versus like if we just put it in the aisle with everything else, they wouldn't really see it as a new item. Also like the Jif peanut butter is on an end cap. We don't normally carry Jif. So it's more to bring attention to certain products.
So do you think that these kind of effects that product placement has on customers, do you think it could lead to health risks such as obesity if just mostly unhealthy foods are being marketed?
Oh, definitely. If all you see on end caps is junk, then that's what people are going to grab. And that's a lot of it is placed specifically that way. So like candy, and like over here you have all the candy placed easy access. Kids are going to walk by and see this, and they're going to see the Pez on the bottom. You know, parents aren't going to really worry about the bottom shelves, so more kid-friendly or kid-aimed food is going to be placed on the bottom so that children grab it. And
do you think replacing kind of like the candy bar sweets that are at the front of the register, do you think that'd be effective in people choosing healthier items, or would it just impact the store financially and not really do any good?
I guess I could go both ways on this. If it's not there, they're not going to grab it, but replacing it with a granola bar or healthier snacks would definitely, kids might still grab them. I mean, we had that chip rack up here that now has moved and nobody's touched it since it's been at the front of the store. It's gone, and it has not been refilled since we moved it 2 weeks ago.
So we are in the back room of Save-A-Lot with one of Save-A-Lot's prime cashiers, Kathy. Kathy, on average, do you think customers purchase more unhealthy foods or healthier foods, or do you think it's just like a mix of both?
It's a mix of both. Holidays bring on a lot of snack food. Game days, snack food.
And Kathy, how many years have you been working here?
8.
So Kathy has a lot of experience with who is bringing in what at the register. And Kathy, do you think that the impulse buys by the cash register have a heavy influence on customers, or is it the own customer's fault for choosing those?
No, I think it's impulse. They see them there and say, oh, I wouldn't have thought of that, and pick it up. And I see it all the time.
Can you just say your name and then spell it out for me?
Debbie Loeber, Loeber.
All right, thank you. That's just so I can give you credit in the name. So do you think that you're heavily influenced by products like placed in certain items in the store, especially like products placed at the front of the registers?
At my age, not anymore. When I had kids, yes, it was hard to get out of the store.
So basically pretty influential on kids.
Yes.
So do you think as an everyday customer you are heavily influenced by product placement throughout the store?
It does. It does affect me now and then.
How so?
I just picked up something that looked good on the end aisle that was just placed there to get my attention.
Do you think that it's mostly up to the customer on what they choose, or do you think like placement of products throughout the stores influence what they choose?
No, I think it's pretty much the person going into the store what they want. You look, you check the prices, and you move on.
I think it's just they purchase on what they want.
So placement doesn't really have much of an influence, more just like what you want?
Yeah, I come for what I want, but the placement of it, I guess, does influence a little bit of it.
For those who do believe in the power of product placement in stores, many researchers are advocating for rules and regulations to be put in place in order to mandate where these products can be placed within the store. Both the sources, The Potential for Healthy Checkout Policies to Advance Nutrition Equity by Jennifer Falb, and Candy at the Cash Register, A Risk Factor for Obesity and Chronic Disease by Deborah Cohen and Susan Baby, both focus on the dangers of product placement by the checkout lines in grocery stores and the need for rules to be put in place, and making it a priority to change it to healthier food being advertised to avoid the risks on unsuspecting customers. Jennifer stresses the need for regulations on products near the front of the registers, known as impulse buys. These kind of buys are kind of things that customers buy on a whim, kind of unknowingly. Jennifer wants policies that change these kind of unhealthy things at the front of registers to healthier items. Susan and Deborah add on to this by saying how impossible it is to resist foods that are placed at the front of the register. They focus more on the health impacts of these kind of placements, talking about how customers are ingesting unhealthy fats and sugars that are leading to health risks such as obesity. And the researchers also advocate for regulations to govern what kind of items can be displayed in these high-risk locations within grocery stores. So now we're here with the district manager of Save A Lot, Danielle, who has some takes on product placement within the store.
One big thing with product placement, you can put something in a certain area and you'll notice it's really not selling, and sometimes it's just moving it to a different area and you will sell it so much better. A huge thing with products, if you're going to have, say, pasta on an end cap, it should be on the aisle before the pasta aisle. It should never be placed past that aisle. If a customer already went down that aisle and chose all their pasta, they're going to just walk past your end cap. And they should also coordinate with the aisles, so it should be around the same location of the aisle that the product is sold in.
However, not everyone agrees with the impacts on product placement fueling health risks within the population. One of my sources, Product Placement Plays a Role in Fueling the Obesity Epidemic by Mark Mahoney, disagrees with the impact of product placement. He believes that product placement is inevitable and there's nothing that we can really change about it. Big corporate companies are paying up to $5 million just for their products to be placed in these high desirable areas. He says that it's not product placement that influences a customer, but their own choices of knowing which foods are healthy or unhealthy to choose at a grocery store. So, what did we learn today? We learned that product placement does influence some customers, but not all, and mostly kids. We also learned about how products are placed together on like similarity, and how grocery stores use that to their advantage to get customers to buy more. To conclude this video, it is clear to see the kind of impacts that product placement can have on customers within a grocery store. Even if we feel like we're choosing the products on what we're buying, could the placement of where they are in the store really be the ones that are telling us what to get? Analyzing these connections between my sources as well as their disagreements, and getting real-life knowledge from people who work at grocery stores as well as its everyday customers really opened up my mind to the kind of impacts that product placement has on me as a customer individually. Using this multimodal literature review, I hope that you're able to understand how big of an impact product placement is on you as a customer in an everyday store, and how it can even lead to health risks and problems such as obesity. Next time you walk into a grocery store, try to think about why you're buying those products, and if it's because you really need them, or are they just desirable at the moment? Thank you.